Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Movie Social. We're your hosts, Ricky and Steph.
What up, what up, what up?
And today on Movie Social, we're happy to finally get this one out there in theaters. Well, Netflix, I should say. Not quite theaters. Originally was supposed to be in theaters. But if you don't know by now, we're talking about Concrete Cowboy. Philadelphia's very own movie.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into this review for this tremendous movie, if you like what we're doing on this channel with these reviews, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It'd be a big help to us. And also, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up and share the channel and video with your family and friends. And alright, so for those that don't know, Concrete Cowboy is, yes, about black cowboys in the urban city of Philadelphia. To be exact, North Philly, Strawberry Mansion area.
Mm-hmm. They're between 29th and 27th from Fletcher Street.
Yeah. And eventually, of course, throughout the movie, they talk about the other areas, which some didn't know about, even from living in the city.
True.
But, yes, it takes center stage of the life of one of the cowboys' son, who mother apparently originally left and took them to Detroit when the father got arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Came back because the son was having some serious problems. Like, sheesh. When this first started, I'm like, good gravy.
Yeah.
How many schools has this man been kicked out of?
Yeah, man.
As a teenager. I mean, teenagers, yes, you go through stuff, but most boys do need their fathers. They need their mothers too, but they definitely need the fathers as well. And then it shined a huge light on the cowboy scene here in Philadelphia. And yes, there are black cowboys for those that didn't know.
Mm-hmm. What I liked most about this movie,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't try to sugarcoat Philly. Like, you know how some movies
Nope.
try to make Philly like look all beautiful and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, this was the trenches.
Well, I mean, that was the whole storyline for this.
Yeah. And on top of that, Mm-hmm. I absolutely love the fact that people who actually are a part of the Fletcher Street stable and stuff like that were in the movie.
Yep.
They stuck
like
true.
that, instead of hiring actors.
Exactly. They stuck true to the people who were experiencing this and having this, going on, and part of this family was actually in it. And I thought that was absolutely 100% awesome.
Yep. I mean, they had about 5 main actors that really were actors, including Method Man, of course, Idris Elba, and son, and also the other lady.
The neighbor, yes.
Yep.
So yeah, they had about 5-6 actors maybe that were just,
True actors.
Yep. Which is dope. I mean, like I said, I appreciate stuff like that for real.
I mean, and this whole storyline and the events that happen, it shines a major problem of Philadelphia. How you try to evict the black community out of their homes. Because, yes, a lot of the black community doesn't own those homes, which is another problem in itself. But don't own the properties, and you kick them out just to gentrify the neighborhood because you don't like what they're doing. Even though it's creating a sanctuary and a place for them to live and thrive without being around the violence and having to deal with the violence and the gangs and the problems. And yet now you see crime on the rise still and all that. But then you want to know why. Why is this so hard? Because you keep taking and taking and taking, leaving nothing for people to have.
Agreed, man.
And that was one of the major parts from the story.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it was also a story about making, like, just because you're from the hood, and we are walking in the hood, just because you're from the hood doesn't mean you have to be a statistic and fall to the streets.
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously things happen. Like, you can literally go outside and something happen, but that's you're a victim of something happening. You're not a victim of your circumstances of yourself putting yourself in that particular situation. And you had stories like I believe the gentleman name was Paris.
Yeah, I was about to hit on that because that's one of the big things to me that I like that they were talking about how he was talking about how he became paralyzed because him and his brother were out riding and got an altercation with people over a street corner, which he hit the nail on the head to say that they were arguing over a corner that neither one of them owned, and eventually, a Starbucks pops up on that corner.
Mm-hmm.
So that never makes sense to me. Yeah, you might be hustling, selling, whatever on that corner. You don't own the corner. You can claim you own it or whatever, but if the city really wants to come and take over the corner, they can change, do whatever they want. You are out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the whole thing right now with Kensington. That's going to be another hotbed, if you ask me. They are heavily trying to gentrify that whole community.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's going to happen? That violence gets pushed out to another part of the city, and it's just going to keep expanding and expanding till you have nothing but a whole bunch of people sitting out there. Instead of fixing the problems and addressing the issues, you just try to whitewash it in a way.
Yeah. Man, like I said, man, this was one of the best movies that showed Philly in the light that, oh, we're just not this big major city. We have problems. We have people struggling. And you also have people out in the community that are trying to help and uplift by something that they see as constructive.
Mm-hmm. And they even mentioned about how this was going on for generations, having that lifestyle. I believe actually over a century or so.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely shows a better light of cowboys versus the way that you see Hollywood portray it, as they even mentioned in the movie.
Yep, they did mention it.
Because, yes, there were a lot of black cowboys back then.
You know what also got to me?
Mm-hmm.
How they said the term cowboy was originated when it's actually cowhand. How the masters was like, oh, you go out there and do this, boy. And how they changed cowhand to cowboy. I was like, yo, that's deep. That's real deep, man. And like I said, if a movie brings you entertainment and you learn something from it, some of the best movies.
Yeah. I mean, you also do a little fact checking on certain things always.
Yeah.
As always. But overall, definitely great. What I would like to see, though, can we get one about the bombing of West Philadelphia? That's another big one for Philadelphia. I mean, we have a lot of history in Philadelphia, good and bad.
Yeah.
That has yet to be talked about on a major level in the way that it should. And I think bombings would be another good one to do.
I feel like, honestly,
but I think they're afraid to do
it. Yeah, I agree with
you.
you.
The government was in the wrong completely.
I definitely agree with you that they should definitely do the movie like that. Because, I mean, in Philadelphia, you get the birth of a nation type movies. Oh, the Declaration of Independence was signed here and all this other stuff. Okay, well, what about the nitty gritty version of Philadelphia, like the West Philly bombing and stuff like that? Like that definitely needs to be brought to light. Because a lot of people don't know about it. I mean, there's people in the city who don't know about it.
There's people that were born before me. Mind you, the bombings happened 5 years before I was born, and I know about it. And people that were born before me that were alive during that still don't know about it. Like, how does that make sense? Yep. They never taught it in school, and you're living in this city and you never were taught this in that city in school.
Yeah, that's definitely something that should be
taught. That was a major historic event that shined the light on a major problem with racism in this country. The city bombing a black organization for no reason. But I mean, that's a whole nother story, a whole nother video that we could do on. But as a whole, this opens up a major avenue, honestly, if you ask me, companies like Netflix and all that, to make movies about things like this, shine more of a bigger light. Especially all these companies that wanted to say they support Black Lives and Black Lives Matter. Start doing stuff like this. Shining lights on Black lives, on Black history and Black culture. Things that are trying to be stamped out by gentrification, white America, stuff like that. Why not keep it? Because films and movies stick around for life. Facts. Just like books. And granted, they did make a book of this before the movie, and that's what helped adapt it. But you never know. Let us know what you guys thought about Concrete Cowboy in the comments below, and until next time.